Alright, just a big disclaimer before we start off today's video. There's going to be spoilers for WandaVision Episode 9, so if you have not seen Episode 9, here's your warning. I don't want to be the guy to spoil it for you, but if you don't care about spoilers, then you can keep watching. If you've seen the episode already, then you can keep watching. But anyways, I didn't want to make this video because I did not expect to. The reason why I didn't want to make this video is because tomorrow we are actually hosting a live spoiler discussion at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you want to hear a live spoiler discussion where all we do is talk about the spoilers in WandaVision Episode 9, well, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you can be updated when we host the live spoiler discussion. And yeah, make sure you go ahead and do that. And also smash the like button. It only takes 1 second. Makes a massive difference to the channel. Also, ignore the background sound. There's some construction or some things happening somewhere in my street right here, but ignore that. The reason why I didn't want to make this video is because I wanted to give my review on a live spoiler discussion. However, I'm not going to be able to do that because I needed to give my opinion right now. Now, I'm still going to do the spoiler discussion, but however, this episode 9 left me, my final thoughts on this episode is I was left disappointed yet satisfied, which is weird, right? Like, how do you leave satisfied yet disappointed? This is the first episode I was genuinely angry at because WandaVision episodes 1 through 8 were actually really, really good. I'll admit that. I loved the first 8 episodes and I was the biggest fan of WandaVision. I was the biggest fan. All I did on this channel was talk about WandaVision. I hosted so many spoiler discussions for each episode just so we can talk about WandaVision. And I even hosted a final preview video where I just talked about our theories live for episode 9. However, this episode 9 was disappointing on many levels. There's so many things this episode did that I was so mad at. And the director even warned us about it the day prior to it, saying it's going to disappoint a lot of fans. And I didn't think I was going to be disappointed because I'm someone who, you know, I don't follow theories too much. Well, I do follow theories, just that I don't make theories the priority. I'm not saying you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, that. I'm not someone who thinks like that. But this episode made me feel that way. I am not a nitpicker. I'm not someone who just constantly looks at little things that my theories that I got wrong. I would get, like, I never get mad at that. Endgame is a pure example. A lot of my theories for Endgame came out wrong, and yet I still love the Endgame. I love Endgame. But yet this episode, it made me feel like those little trolls in their basements who get mad at every single sensitive thing that happens in movies or video games. It made me feel like that. Because when I left WandaVision, there were so many things they did so wrong and so stupidly that I felt frustrated, but yet I felt satisfied. Now I'm about to get into spoilers and specific things. I don't know how long this video is going to be because I just want to let out my full-on opinions. So here we go. The one of the first things that got me really frustrated was no Mephisto reveal. Now, in the first 5 episodes, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't expecting Mephisto. Now, yes, that was a little thought in my head, but I'm like, there's no way that Mephisto's going to be in it because I felt like they weren't really going for that route. However, throughout the episodes, it felt more and more and more like Mephisto will pop up, or a Nightmare, or a Grim Reaper, someone in that caliber of villainy. And especially in the last episode, they tease so much Mephisto. Or let me just, when I say Mephisto, I mean villain, like third villain. So just keep that in mind, especially with the bunny, especially with all those things. And I was expecting a Mephisto reveal. However, this episode obviously did not have a reveal for him or any villain regardless. And the only reason why I have a problem with this is because WandaVision themselves hyped up that third villain so much. They had little clues, and especially in episode 8. So I know some of you are going to be like, oh, but they never said there would be a third villain. Regardless, they were showing so much that there was going to be another villain. And when they don't show that, you're wondering, so then what the heck were these clues for? What was the hexagon for? What was the 6 for? Why so many demon details? All for what? And that's one small problem I had with that part of the episode. And another thing I had was the Ralph reveal, which happened to be Quicksilver. One of the things I wanted to know is, who is this Quicksilver? And I didn't mind if this wasn't Evan Peters' Quicksilver. However, the way they told us was the stupidest way. Something I've always complained about Marvel, which is something I like about Marvel, which is weird, is the comedy they insert within each movie. And I love the comedy, but sometimes it gets way over the hand. In this one particular part, where it showed Quicksilver in a basement with Monica trapped. We find out that he's actually been trapped by Agatha. We find out he's been trapped, and we find out his real name is actually Ralph. Guess what's his last name? Boner. Yes, his last name is Boner, and they make a joke out of it. They just say, "Oh yeah, he's Ralph Boner." I guess that's Ralph who we were talking about the whole time. I don't know. And then they just make a boner joke, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, so now he's not really the Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe." So then what's the point of bringing in Evan Peters? Like, what is the point of bringing Evan Peters, saying he's Quicksilver, for what? Just to make a boner joke? What's the ideology? What is the thinking of Marvel? And I love Kevin Feige, and I love the writing staff at Marvel. I love most MCU movies. But the whole boner joke in the final episode, what was the point of it? What was, like, I laughed at. I'm not going to lie. I laughed. But after a minute, I'm like, oh, wait, this is what they're actually going for? I don't know what's the thought process of the people who wrote WandaVision, but this is not it. Just making a little boner joke out of a big theory that we all had. Like, what? Like, what's the point? What is the point? And then another thing is Hayward getting arrested. Look, I've been saying this. Hayward, yes, he's a douchebag. He's a douchebag. No one likes Hayward because he's rude, he's an a-hole, and he doesn't seem to care about other people. But regardless of what you want to say, Hayward was never a villain. He was never a villain. But in this episode, they make it seem like Hayward was the clear villain, and Wanda, none of the cops were chasing her. Nobody seemed to want to attack her at the end, and she just went off free. I mean, yeah, you had people be mad, but they legit zoom in on Monica and says it's because they don't understand you. What do you mean? You held an entire town hostage for weeks, or I don't know how long. But for weeks, you hold a giant group of people held hostage just pure on grief. And yet, Monica blames the people because they don't understand her pain. I don't care who you are. If you held me hostage in a 50s sitcom, I'm obviously going to be pissed. I think any human being would be like that. Let me use an example. Imagine you have 3 friends. And one of them is named Xavier. Let me just use that name. And let's say his mom dies and he starts choking out your other friend. And you're telling him, it's like, why are you choking him? And then he says, oh, it's because my mom died. Of course, you're not going to be like, oh, I understand your pain and grief, so obviously I'm going to let you off the hook. No. We go to him and be like, you're not supposed to choke another human being because you're going to potentially murder him. But yet with Wanda, she was just let off free. And I know she's in hiding, but they could have had a scene where the police are like, get her, or something like that. Kind of like the Dark Knight at the end where all the cops are like, all right, we're going down for Batman. Wanda, instead, they're just like, oh yeah, she'll just fly off. And then what's the point of her even going to Monica? Like, she just said one little simple thing and that's it. That was it. And even though it sounds like I'm mad, there were some things that did satisfy me. Like, for example, I love seeing the scene where Vision and the kids, have to go with the hex. And I love the fact that she goes into hiding and she starts practicing the dark magic. And I do like the little reference to the Sorcerer Supreme. But there's another thing that I also have a little complaint about, and that's the final battle between Agatha and Wanda. Now, I predicted Agatha would absorb the magic of Wanda. I remember watching the episode 8 at the beginning where she's in Salem. I predicted very much that she will eventually absorb Wanda's power somehow, and it came out to be true. However, Wanda all of a sudden knew magic spells, even though we established that she doesn't know spells, she doesn't know much. All she is doing is by reaction, but yet all of a sudden she beats an experienced witch who was born from the 1600s to just all of a sudden, he's like, oh yeah, I know how to cast spells, so I'm gonna all of a sudden, make you not have powers because I put a spell on you, and then I'm gonna absorb your power. That was stupid thinking. I did like how she did turn Monica into the nosy neighbor as punishment. That I do understand. But it's like there's so many things. This episode felt kind of rushed in multiple ways. This episode felt like the writers were like, okay, we have all this established. We only have a short amount of time to finish it, though. You could have taken an hour. You could have had an hour to yourself. Really, an hour. You could have had an hour and the fans wouldn't have cared. Because really, the biggest complaint about WandaVision has been not having enough time. The last episode, you could have had a little more time. I'm telling you, if it's Marvel and you're releasing an hour-long episode, they'd be completely fine with it. And I love WandaVision, and I still love it even after this disappointing finale. I mean, I felt satisfied with the finale, but there was a lot of disappointment to it. And I know this is going to be a small little complaint. This isn't really the WandaVision fault, but the Luke Skywalker level cameo. Now, let me put some context into this. Elizabeth Olsen was asked, is there a Luke Skywalker level cameo in this? And she said, yes, I'm very excited. Now, I think what she means is, I think they were talking about Evan Peters as Quicksilver. And look, I'm not going to blame the writers. I'm not even mad at that there was no Luke Skywalker level cameo. But, Elizabeth Olsen, it's like, just a little complaint to her. I think you should know not to run your mouth if Luke Skywalker is mentioned. Because even if you don't watch Star Wars, Luke Skywalker is a big character. And I am sorry, but, Evan Peters' Quicksilver is not a Luke Skywalker level cameo. Now, yes, it's a little fun, cool shock where you're like, oh, wow. I did not expect that, but that's cool. But Luke Skywalker is more of a level where you're like, oh my god, who is it? I'm sorry, but I am gonna blame Elizabeth Olsen on that one. I'm sorry, but Luke Skywalker, even people who don't watch Star Wars at all know who Luke Skywalker is. They're like, oh yeah, that's the guy from Star Wars. So when you hear a character who you don't remember or you don't recognize, just be like, oh, I don't know who you're talking about. Something like that. That would have been easy. These fan theories, it's like, don't even blame us for expecting a Luke Skywalker level cameo. Don't. But, it is what it is. I am glad Paul Bettany did give a disclaimer the day prior that, the actor I always wanted to work with was myself. That was a little funny joke. But there's one thing I hated from White Vision, and that is, White Vision just quickly left. He just left. You just have Vision be like, okay, here's my memories. Now, shoot. He just leaves. That's it. In the post-credit scenes, the mid-credit, let me talk about the mid-credit. I don't care. I am sorry, but I don't care about scrolls. I don't care at all what the scrolls are. The MCU has done already the scroll thing. I am not hyped for Secret Invasion, even though that's one of my favorite comic book storylines of all time. But regardless, I'm not mad at the mid-credit scene. That's completely fine. I understand they want to give Monica, just kind of hype up Captain Marvel 2. However, I just didn't care. I didn't care too much about the mid-credit scene. So that's not really a complaint. The post-credit scene, I did like how Wanda is, like I said it already, I was satisfied at the fact that Wanda just left and went to a cabin and she just started practicing magic on her own. That I do like. I do have one big question. Where was Doctor Strange? You're telling me the Sorcerer Supreme didn't recognize a giant hex fortress in New Jersey? You're telling me he didn't recognize that? Or he didn't see that? This is the guy who noticed that Loki popped up in Earth, but he didn't know that there was a giant hex, taking thousands of people hostage. I said this as my prediction. I thought Doctor Strange would pop up in the final episode. Now, I'm not saying as a final battle. I just meant as a, oh my, just have him pop up and be like, what is this? Something like that. Now, they can easily fix this by saying, oh, maybe Doctor Strange was busy doing other things. Because remember, the blip just happened and Doctor Strange just returned. So maybe there's more crisis around the world that he's trying to fix. Because after the snap, he's been gone for 5 years. So, it makes perfect sense if he doesn't pop up. And I'm not going to complain about the multiverse not being open because there's giant predictions about that. I'm not going to complain about it because I don't know what they're going to do in Spider-Man 3. I don't know what they're going to do in Doctor Strange 2. I don't know what they're going to do. But, I'm not going to complain about that. I know some people have complained about that, but that's just not going to be one of my complaints. Just because, I don't know what's going to happen in those movies. So I really don't have any reason to complain about it. But this episode really was the first WandaVision episode that left me kind of angry and disappointed, but yet I felt satisfied. I said I liked the ending. I like seeing her say goodbye to Vision, because really the whole show is about a woman processing grief. And like I said, I still love WandaVision. I'll still recommend WandaVision. I've gotten so many people to watch WandaVision yet, but I'm still a bit disappointed. I'm still not, I felt satisfied. I felt satisfied though, which is weird. I know it's very weird. And I like the episode, but there were so many things that WandaVision did wrong in this episode that, you know, it's like, make it an hour if you don't have enough time. It's like, fans would have been fine. Now I understand the 2-hour thing. A lot of fans said, just make it a 2-hour episode. I'm sorry, I actually fully understand why they wouldn't go for the 2-hour mark, simply because of the fact that people are expecting a show, and if you give them 2 hours, 2 hours is a movie. But yeah, I'm sorry, but I have to complain, because really, I'm not complaining because I hated the show. I'm complaining because I loved the show. I loved it so much that this ending just kind of left me with a sour taste in my mouth, with a very sour taste. You know, I do think Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're going to have more pressure now than they ever did, because I'm going to be honest, coming up after WandaVision, that's going to be a tough choice. That's going to be a tough competition. Same thing with Loki, but, you know, I still think they're going to be both great, because the trailers have both seemed great, especially Loki. Loki was the series I was most hyped up for. And I'm not going to lie, WandaVision was a show I was not hyped up for prior to WandaVision. But I'm telling you, they exceeded expectations, and that's why I'm proud of WandaVision. So at the end of the day, you know, WandaVision exceeded expectations. It broke what I thought would happen. It did so many things that I did not expect it. It became way better than I expected. It's one of the best MCU projects I've seen. It's clearly the most creative one. And yeah, you know, I'm going to give them a round of applause at the end of the day. I know I might have came off as ranty in this video, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to give them a round of applause. I'm going to be like, you know what? You did a great job with most of the episodes. I love the episodes 1 through 8, but episode 9 did feel like a decline. It felt rushed. It felt quick. It felt like they didn't know how to answer everything. And, you know, even though I don't like episode 9 too much, I still will appreciate what they did with it. And I understand what they went for, you know, a story of grief, the story of pain. And, you know, I'm just going to give them credit when credit's due, because really at the end of the day, all I can say is thank you to WandaVision. Thank you to all the writers. Thank you to all the directors. Thank you to Kevin Feige for taking a risk this big. And really, what they did with the show is remarkable. It was amazing. And I'm telling you, man, WandaVision is just so good. But, you know, episode 9, you know, I just left disappointed. But, you know, I'm just going to appreciate greatness when greatness is due. I am going to miss WandaVision. It is going to be sad not seeing WandaVision every Friday, 2 a.m. But now we got Falcon and Winter Soldier in a week or so. We got the Snyder Cut in like a week. We got Godzilla vs. Kong in March 31st. So we got plenty of content this month. And, you know, I'm all in for it. And I am so excited. And I apologize if I came off too ranty. But this is just my personal opinion. If you disagree or agree, comment down below. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm correct? Do you think whatever it is? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I did not expect to make this video. Later today, I have a Chaos Walking movie review and Cherry review, so expect those sooner rather than later. Except Cherry. I think Cherry, I would probably postpone it to Sunday, but regardless, thank you guys for being a part of today's video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter here on the screen. I always have them on the screen. Over there, I update y'all with like what's the future of the videos here on this channel. So expect more of that. And if you want to be part of our live WandaVision episode 9 spoiler discussion, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bells. That way you can be notified whenever I upload a video, because here on this channel, we talk about movie news, movie reviews, everything in the wonderful world of movies. So if you're into that kind of content, then you're in the right place. And yeah, hope to see you guys soon. And, you know, thank you guys for being a part of today's video. Make sure you drop a like button. That way you help support the channel. It only takes 1 second. Makes a massive difference to the video and the channel. And yeah, if you loved WandaVision, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you didn't love WandaVision, whatever your opinion is, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day to be a part of today's video. And yeah, what are you guys still doing here? Bye-bye.